first, when I started muting people, I felt bad. This is just not healthy. This is just not doable. Start focusing on those parts of social media that make you feel really good about yourself. Wow, the sunburn is actually so red. Hello friends and new friends, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, my name is Maggie. Today we're going to be talking about social media, but usually I make a lot of fashion and style and lifestyle videos, all that kind of stuff. We're both on this journey called life and we are trying to figure out how to do it the best way that we can. I really just hope that through my videos I can help you while helping myself too to figure out what works, what doesn't, and just to overall be our very best selves we can be. I think that's like the #1 goal of life. This is new. Hello. It's not on right now, but hello. I'm so excited to see where it takes me. Comment down below what new hobby you are going to be exploring this summer. And talking about how we can have a healthier relationship with social media. I keep fixing this, sorry. Our online life, our online presence. I know when I was in about 6th grade, way back in the day, it was probably when I was first exposed to social media. Between when I first started and now, I would definitely say that I have had quite a journey. And so today I really want to share with you a couple lessons I have learned and ways that we can really work towards having a much better relationship with our social media, with our online presence, and how we can get the most out of our online social media use without harming ourselves. I love the creativity of it. I love the fact that you can design these awesome photos and put them online. I love that you can edit and really make it a piece of art. I also love how you can use social media to create so many connections, yet despite those two wonderful things and more about social media, I've always found myself 100 times better, feeling 100 times better about myself, about my life when I am not using them. I have come up with 4 main lessons and 4 corresponding solutions that I have personally used with the way that I manage myself online and how I use Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. I hope that these will help you. So let's just get into number 1. Have you ever posted on your story or on your Instagram or on Snapchat and you cannot stop looking at who is watching your stories and who has liked your pictures and who has left a comment and all these other things? Yeah, hi, me. I know I'm not alone here. What I've come to realize, because I do this so often, is that I need to ask myself the question, am I posting this for myself or for somebody else? Am I posting this quote on my story because I firmly believe in that quote and I want to spread a positive message to people, or am I posting it because I want Carl James to see it and be like, oh, Maggie is a rockin' girl? And then, you know, you've been in my shoes here. When you look and it's been a day, it's been 24 hours and you're like, has he seen it yet? And he hasn't seen it. I mean, we've all been there, and then all of a sudden we're like, what, did I just post that for no reason? Like, he didn't see it? That's the point of this, you guys. We have to step back and ask ourselves, who are we really posting these for? My solution/challenge for all of you is to start practicing disconnecting from social media. And you're probably wondering, like, how on earth is that even possible? How can you possibly disconnect from social media? But what I really mean here is try to put something on your story and then leave it. Force yourself not to look at who has looked at it. Literally for the duration that the story is on your Snapchat or your Instagram. This, I'm telling you guys, has changed my life. I was a chronic story checker. Ever since I've started posting stories and not looking at who has seen them, the stories mean so much more to me. I'm posting something and I'm refusing to see if Joe Schmo saw it. That says to me, it doesn't matter if he saw it. this is who I am, this is what I want to post because this is what I believe in and what I want to share to the world. And honestly, if the point of posting this thing for Joe Schmo is for him to see it, and then you start forgetting about whether he saw it, and then you start posting more from your heart and who you are, he's probably gonna like you even more. Just saying. It's gonna show you your real self. That's where we need to start practicing the disconnect. On to number 2. We have all been there. We're scrolling and tapping the likes, looking at stories on Snapchat, and all of a sudden we look at the clock and we're like, excuse me? How much time went by? Holy moly, you know? I have to stop and ask myself, what good actually came out of any of that time I just spent? If I sit there after scrolling for an hour on Instagram and I can't even think of one thing that stood out to me that I'm gonna take with me, why on earth am I spending and wasting all this time online when I am genuinely getting nothing out of it? And so my solution / challenge for all of you guys is to start personalizing your feed. What I mean by this is use that mute tool. That is there for a reason. My life changed drastically. Once I see a post that I'm like, you know what, this really isn't going to really help. This isn't gonna help what I'm doing right now. This isn't gonna help me. I go to the person's account and I click mute. The great thing about the mute button is that you completely eliminate the risk of the unfollow effect. We all know what the unfollow effect is. They might not notice right away, but then once they notice that you're not in their followers list, you know, there's some drama, and there doesn't need to be drama, you guys. Let's take the drama out of social media. If you see something that you feel is not building you in that moment, take that time to go to that person's account and mute, whether it's their stories or only their posts. On Instagram, you can choose which one, or you can do both. Now you're spending less time on social media because you're only seeing what you actually want to see. And if you are spending a decent amount of time online, well, at least you're spending that time in a way you want to and not just looking at things that really don't matter to you. Number 3, we have literally all been here, whether subconsciously or not. We see this post and all of a sudden we immediately go into comparison mode. This literally doesn't have to be a moment of sitting and being like, oh, I look way less pretty, or he has better abs than me, whatever it is. It could just be a subconscious feeling of feeling less than them. Feeling like you need to have something they have that you don't. Automatically your brain is like, okay, I am not who I'm supposed to be yet, I need to get that thing. After noticing how much that I was focusing so much on other people's posts, I had to start asking myself the question, why should I let these people's posts affect my life so much, right? They're not posting that picture specifically for Maggie to see and then crave whatever she has, right? That's not the point. So why should we let that be the point? And so this coincides together with that last thing I was just talking about with the whole muting and personalizing your feed. And in this situation, you guys, I challenge you to pull from the ground up the dignity that you have and the courage that you have to go to that person's account and mute them. And in some cases, even unfollow them. The unfollowing is a little, I don't like to unfollow anyone that I personally know or that it could have some type of bad effect on them. I just feel awful. I don't want to be that person. But what I'm talking about for the unfollow is more so different brands that post quotes or that show models this way or that way. It's not like a personal relationship. Those accounts I would go ahead and unfollow. If you are ever looking at a post or people's posts that start to make you doubt your worth and doubt yourself, have the courage, have the dignity to acknowledge that that is happening to you. Go to their account and say, I am not going to compare myself anymore to her pictures. And it's nothing against that person. That's the key right here, you guys. I really want you to take this home. It's nothing against that person. And at first when I started muting people, I felt bad. I was like, oh my gosh, she's the sweetest girl in school, whatever. I can't see her posts because I recognize in myself that when I see her posts, I immediately lose track of who I am as a person. It's nothing against her. So whether the person is a friend even, you literally don't know them at all, whoever it is, please you guys, social media is for you. This is not a place to feel drowned out by the world. This is a place for you to express yourself and feel free and feel safe and feel comfortable with who you are. No matter who is challenging that in you, stuff your pride right down, stuff it down, and admit to yourself that you need to say mute. If I want to go ahead and say, oh, I wonder how so-and-so is doing, then I can make that choice to go and search their name and see what they've posted. We've all been there when a post shows up out of nowhere that we weren't prepared to see, and maybe somehow it hits a bone in us and it hurts. And we shouldn't have to feel that way unless we are ready to see it. One thing that I don't like about social media especially is that it really can show you things that you're not prepared for. That's why I encourage you to take the power into your hands, customize what you see, and this is in no way, shape, or form to offend those people. This is simply for you. And number 4, we have all been there, or at least the majority of us, when we start to feel so overwhelmed by wanting to perfect all of our social media platforms. And by this, I mean having a perfect Instagram feed, putting out all the right tweets on Twitter, getting all of those retweets, making sure that you have at least one story on your Snapchat per day, also posting a video on YouTube and making sure that is perfect. Maybe you haven't been touching in all of them at the same time, but for me personally, yeah, I've been there. I have been the girl trying to juggle all of those social media platforms, and it is draining. I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to those sorts of platforms where you can really express your personal identity, you want to make it as perfect as you can because you want it to show yourself in the best way possible. And for me, it became a lot because I was checking all these 5 different apps, making sure things were going the way I wanted. Guys, this is just not healthy. This is just not doable. There did come a point when this was the begging question, and it was, is overextending myself lowering the quality of my content? Whether you are trying to build a brand or if you're just trying to put out good quality content for yourself, I mean, this goes both ways. This goes for anyone. My solution/challenge for this issue is to just commit to 1 or 2 social media websites or platforms and really stick to them and really make those the best you can make them. And while you are focusing on these 1 or 2 platforms, remind yourself that there are no rules to social media. What a beautiful thing. It's like makeup and fashion. There are no rules. You simply use it to create beautiful things and things you care about and things that you are proud of and things that make you you. It's really a wonderful, wonderful art space. The way that I want you all to think about your social media, at least this has helped me so much, it's to just start considering each of your social media platforms as portfolios for your best work that really show off your best self and that you care about. Content that you genuinely are so proud of that you would not care if Carl Blackstein didn't like it. I don't know, I used Carl twice in this. Sorry, Carl. This sort of ties everything back into the first thing that I mentioned, and that is to start disconnecting yourself. And not disconnecting from people in the world, not disconnecting from friends, not disconnecting from being in reality, disconnecting from the likes, disconnecting from the comments and the views, and just making sure that what you're putting out there is true to you and it's making you happy. If you do that, it doesn't matter how many likes you have, how many subscribers, how many of anything you have, you can really start to shift your social presence towards something that makes you happy. That is it for this video. Those are my top 4 moments that I feel like everyone has experienced with social media and my top solutions to those issues. My main goal here, as I said before, is not to shut down social media and say it's bad, because I don't think it's bad. I really think it's a great place to connect and share your creativity and your identity, but we have to be so careful, because if we are not mindful about how we're going about social media, then my gosh, I can't even explain to you. Things just crash and burn. We get so caught up in it that we forget that, oh my, I do not feel like myself anymore. I feel like I'm so overwhelmed by social media. I feel like I can't have healthy relationships anymore because I am constantly checking to see if my boyfriend is even liking my pictures. Like, we have to let these things go. And so I guess the moral of this whole social media story is to start detaching yourself and disconnecting yourself from those parts of social media that really can hurt. Start focusing on those parts of social media that make you feel really good about yourself and about your life. I really truly pray and hope that this can help some of you. I know it's been a long personal journey for me, and it still is. No matter what we can do to start to transform our lives into something we love, we might as well do it. And that's how I view things. Might as well, right? Don't forget to subscribe for more content similar to this. Head over to my Instagram at South Lincoln Studio, where hopefully I can post pictures for you that don't make you feel bad about yourself. I hope I'm not doing that. Best of luck with your social media. Make sure to reach out to me if you ever feel like you need more help with this topic, or if you just need someone to talk to about really anything. I'm always here. So with that said, I'll see you in my next video. Have a fabulous day. Bye. You know, it's not like a